Or random note, this video is not exactly, I mean, you could call it commentary, but Xbox versus PlayStation. Now, I know I have a PlayStation, so. And people be like, bro, you're not able to really be biased. You play one specific console. Not entirely. I mean, I've played both, even though I've owned mostly PlayStations in my time, versus playing on Xbox. But at the same time, I have some grasp. For example, this petty as argument between Xbox and PlayStation, which one's better? I mean, yeah, they do. One may offer one more than the other, and that one may be that more exclusive to that one. But like at the same time, it's not really worth getting your dick in the dirt for and having this over seen as argument. This argument that, if I'm gonna be blatantly honest, seems kind of pointless, if you will. The reason I say this is that there's differences, but there's not really differences. I'm gonna give a very critical. I'm not gonna give one specific side because I'm not gonna have any favoritism in this video or anything biased. Sure, I will give in the end what console I prefer for my reasons. Or I might say in the middle of the reasoning, but at the same time, don't rely on my point of view. Because, I'm sharing you the actual stuff that you need to know about the two consoles and if it's even worth fighting for to begin with. Me personally, I think it's just a very petty argument. I'm not gonna lie, maybe at one point I was one of those people in my friend group that would have this stupid long ass argument between which one is better. But then at the same time, who really hasn't done that before in their life? With that being said, let's basically start off. The first, yo, my boy. That's kind of dope. Much love to my best friend, by the way. That's one of my best friends who just gifted me that, which he's a pretty good friend of mine. I've known him for like a really long time, so it's interesting saying something like that drop. If I can. Oh, that emote's just there because I'm stupid. Now, which one of these emotes do I not really care about? Block it up is kind of outdated, not gonna lie. This one probably the first Icon series mode I'll actually own in this game. It's Serve. That's kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of respect it. But anyway, past to the point, back to the conversation. The first major differences between the two consoles, besides their looks and their controller, which we're not going to get into because we all know this by now, it's common fucking sense. The major difference between the two game systems is one is Microsoft, one is Sony. But that's not really something I'm going to get into. Sure, someone might like Microsoft more than Sony, someone might prefer Sony over Microsoft. That's not really much important to talk about right now, even though you could say it is. The main thing I want to get into is the interface of the system. Obviously, when you're playing on Xbox, you have a lot more access to different options, different modes, like a directive mode or something like that. I forgot exactly what they call it. But there's like a very special mode that allows you to do a lot more things on Xbox One. Like you can even emulate old Nintendo games from what I've heard. But you also have a lot more access to sound settings, like headphone settings, microphones. And to be honest with you, the only biased thing I'm not even add about this is, well, depending on the user face on Xbox is a little bit more difficult to use and complicated than I would say a PlayStation system settings are. But at the same time, this can be a good thing because it allows for much more customization. With good customers. No, I'm just kidding. But be blatant. Holy shit. The way, to be honest, like, when you're, like, basically playing, no, whenever you're, for me, the most biased thing I have to say about this is whenever I was trying to change a basic setting to get the microphone audio to go from the heads, to go from playing out loud into the fucking headset was a lot more difficult than it needed to be. That's the only real complaint I have about it. But other than that, it's a great way to show off the Microsofty nature of the system. PlayStation, however, yes, it's a lot more simple, if you will. You got like your it's write down options, easier to find them. Sure, you can easily find them on Xbox, but at the same time, I feel like I'm using a PC rather than a console. On PlayStation, yes, it feels a lot more simpler, and which is kind of nice at that point. Another big difference with their interface is the games. They all are they have the most lined up, most recently used applications on Xbox versus on PlayStation. You can just scroll down the screen and see everything that you have downloaded, and able to play like all your applications right there in one spot, which is convenient if you ask me. Versus Xbox, you have to like click on your games tab and look at all the different games you. And don't get me wrong, maybe it's a little bit more organized on their part, but honestly, it's not much of a big difference. But another thing I want to talk about between the big differences between Xbox and Sony is, for example, the more accessible features that you have between the two consoles. For example, Xbox, you have on Xbox you have an Xbox Game Pass, EA Pass, which I believe is on PlayStation 2. I don't really know. I don't really buy them. But you have the Game Pass, you have Xbox Live Gold, and yeah, all of that in one. And to be honest, when you have the Game Pass, you have an access to a lot more library of games that you can download, that you can actually play for free. You even have the cloud mode, which you can play games on the cloud. Sure, it's a bit laggy and stuff, but hey, you still get a lot more access to free games, in my opinion, than you do on PlayStation. For example, PlayStation, what we notice, you have PS Plus Ultra, or whatever the fuck they call it. It's like more premium. There's like a new version of PS Plus they added. I don't really know what that adds, if I'm gonna be bluntly honest to you. Better yet, let's go check it out now to see what it has to offer. Because personally, I don't really know, nor do I care for it. All I know is that you get every once in a while you'll get these free PlayStation Plus games. Yeah, you have Essential, Extra, and Premium. Let's go check out what the benefits even do. So, I know it. Okay, compare plans. I'm an idiot. I didn't see this. Okay, so here's what they actually have to offer between premium, extra, or no, essential, extra, and premium. You get monthly games, online multiplayer. You get PlayStation Plus collection of games, exclusive discounts, exclusive packs, cloud storage, game help, and SharePlay, which you have SharePlay, I believe, already by default. I could be wrong. But, and then on Extra, you have a game catalog, monthly games, basically the same thing, just with one extra feature, and that's game catalog, so not really much difference in the two over there. You have the classic catalog, probably meaning you have older games and stuff like that, maybe from older consoles, that would be kind of cool. Game trials, you probably have a free trial on games and stuff. I would guess cloud streaming, games catalog, and well, you get the point. Cloud streaming. So apparently, if you buy the other most expensive version, you have cloud streaming of games. So both consoles have this. Xbox, it kind of is there. There's not really 20 different memberships. That's the when you play Xbox, it's kind of, if you have like, I believe, Xbox Live or Xbox Live Gold or the Game Pass, depending on which one you have. I'm pretty sure you just have you have a straight access to cloud. You don't have to buy. I get Xbox Live Gold are two different things. Then at least they don't have an Xbox Live like Diamond or Platinum. Then I would really be in my feelings because it'd be like, why is everybody doing this shit? Anyways. But other than that, other major differences between the consoles besides their access to games. So we talk about some games that one console is exclusive to the other. Horizon, the one very famous racing game that everybody seems to love on Xbox, is only on Xbox for obvious reasons. I believe H1Z1 and now Dead Battery Owl is on PlayStation. I don't even know if they're on Xbox. I might have added it to there. Sure, that's not really the most exciting game to have on. Honestly, I forget what games are only on PlayStation for real, because I feel like Xbox has a lot of the same games that PlayStation does, but you have a lot more access to those games, and you get better pricing on there than you can on PlayStation. But before we get into anything else related to Xbox and PlayStation, what about we talk about hardware differences, which honestly, there's not really much to talk about here besides the next gen version of PlayStation and Xbox digital version. But for example, though PS4 and Xbox they both have pretty simple, if you will, but they both have 500 gigabytes worth of storage, 8 gigabytes of memory. I believe, I want to say 4K, they have HD basically. Or I don't even know, they run 1080. I don't really care much for the specs because, there's not really too many differences in specs between the two systems, if we're going to be bluntly honest. But whenever you only can run the 2 gigabyte internet. Say if you have a 5 gigabyte and 2 gigabyte internet connections, you can only run the 2 gigabyte internet connection on your system on your newer PS4 Slim or Xbox One S versus the old Xbox One and the old PS4. And then whenever we get into newer systems, whenever you have the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, you have basically 4K being offered now. Which I've heard the argument that people say it looks better on Xbox. I don't really care. I don't want to get into that. All I can say is they both have great graphics, but I'm pretty sure Xbox or PS4 Pro both have shadows. Not really caring for that, but yeah. What else? Let's see here. The newer system is where it gets slightly interesting. I say slightly because whatever. AMD Ryzen, if I'm not mistaken, gets both of their graphics cards. They both have 16 gigabytes of memory, and they both run 120 frames on their games and stuff, especially like Fortnite, which is why I would love to have a next gen someday. But they both have same exact stats. They both have access to 8K gaming. And a major difference I wanted to talk about that kind of screws me a little in the head, you have the digital version of that PlayStation 5 and then the digital version of Xbox, or the Xbox Series S. Tell me why Xbox Series S didn't even bother to try to find a way to upgrade their storage, because their storage is still 500 gigabytes versus PlayStation digital version, which has 800 gigabytes. And most people are like, but yeah, Xbox is cheaper. Xbox Series S is cheaper than PlayStation digital version. Maybe so, but still, feels kind of wonky because it feels like you have the same storage on the same old Xbox One. And to be bluntly honest, that's not that much storage. It's kind of rather disappointing, if you will. It feels because 500 storage isn't that much. 1 terabyte or 800 gigabytes is that gets a 300 gigabyte difference, but it feels much better, if you will. And you don't have to clear up your space as much often just to make sure your system doesn't get slow and this and that. Unlaunched, both systems cost $500, and the digital version's $400 for PlayStation digital, and $300 for Xbox Series S. So over time, times have changed. So prices have changed up a bit. For crap's sakes, you can find a digital version of an Xbox Series for like $275 in certain places, or $285, which I believe is a fucking steal. And I don't really know if they have low prices like that on PlayStation 5s, but whatever. To be honest, this video, the major differences is just the settings, basically what games have more to offer, or basically what the systems have to offer, and then the one major storage difference between the two modern day consoles. To be honest, if this should already tell you something by the end of this video, for fuck's sakes, there's not that many differences to talk about, unless you want to talk about the fact that we can just plug in our charger cords to our PlayStation controller and charge our controller that way versus the new Xbox Series controllers still taking AA batteries, unless they have a charger pack that they can buy separately, which is a huge save ton of money. But then again, I don't really want to have this is the only thing I don't really like about Xbox that I'm gonna be a little bit biased about is, sure, you can go buy a fucking battery pack, but we have a cord that's in there right off start for our controllers, and we don't really want to sit there and pay extra money just for something like that. We already have our cord, which wish they would have done that with Xbox already, but no, they want to make you spend more money and get an Xbox charger pack, because yeah, you can play the PS4 controller and PS5 controllers while they're charging versus, hey, if you're playing that Xbox, bro, you're going to set that shit down. So, which I guess isn't really a bad thing, it's just telling you to take a break, but it's kind of disappointing for something that's supposed to be a new gen. Other than that, I don't really have much else to say besides, if you're still arguing over which system is better, you can go fuck yourself, because to me, there's not many differences anyways that are worth arguing over. Oh my god, my system has more core interfaces. Ha, at least I don't have to fucking wait 10 minutes in our settings. Oh dude, look, we have more storage in our digital version. And? I don't even own the digital version. Hey dude, we have all these access to like all these free games from our game library. So, we have PlayStation Plus Premium. The fuck is that? Anyway. This is basically the end of the video. I want to thank you all for watching. I want to thank all my best friends, my associates, every person who basically I don't really know. Nothing else much to say. I just want to thank everybody for showing up. That shows up on my Twitch channels and shows up to watch these YouTube videos. If you liked the video, like and subscribe. If you didn't, go on somewhere, find a new video. Because not all my videos are for everyone's cup of tea, nor is every video on the internet is meant for everybody. With that being said, this is your person that will, if you want to play on for side noise or you want a perspective into things, come to me. If you want somebody who's fucking loud and obnoxious who's screaming your mic for random reasons at all, I don't know, go check out Morg's channel. I'm kidding. Cracking joke, maybe. Cracking a little bit of a joke there, I don't know. I'm a little bit rude, but I'm gonna shut up. Later.